Hey guys, it's our weekly devotional for specifically the Passion Week. The Passion Week in church history is all about getting us to think about the cross and what the cross means for us and how, because of us, Jesus went to the cross. So I want to share some verses for you that actually come much earlier than the Passion Week in terms of Jesus' life and ministry, but really encompass what the Passion Week is about. This is a famous story. I'm sure you are familiar with it. This comes from Matthew 16. It says in verse 13, "Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, 'Who do people say that the Son of Man is?' And they said, 'Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets.' And he said to them, 'But who do you say that I am?' And Simon Peter replied, 'You are the Christ, the Son of the living God.' And Jesus answered them, 'Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.' Then he strictly charged the disciples to tell no one that he was the Christ." So that part of the story we're all very familiar with. It's Jesus and his disciples doing ministry, and he asks them, "Who do you guys say that I am?" And Peter confesses the confession that he's the Christ. He's the one that Israel's been waiting for. He's the one who's going to redeem them and restore them and all that kind of stuff. So it's all great. And then the second part of the story happens in verse 21. "From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things, and the elders and the chief priests and the scribes, and he will be killed, and on the third day and raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, 'Far be it from you, Lord, this shall never happen to you.' But he turned and said to Peter, 'Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man.'" And so Jesus says, hey, the way that this Christ thing is going to take place, the way that I'm going to redeem Israel and restore everyone, is by going to the cross. And Peter thinks that he's doing the right thing by saying to Jesus, no, we're going to protect you. That's not going to happen. Don't worry about it. We've got your back. And Jesus saying, no, the cross is the only way, Peter. Your desire to protect me from the cross is actually being in league with Satan. And so Jesus follows this up by saying, then he told his disciples, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and they will pay each person according to what he has done. Truly I say to you, there are some here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." And so what Jesus ultimately says, he says, if you want to be part of this thing that I'm doing, you too are going to have to carry your cross and follow me. And the whole point of what Jesus is getting at is he's saying, to be one of his disciples, to be one of his followers, your life is going to need to be shaped by the cross, just like I'm shaped by the cross. For Jesus, everything comes back to this sacrificial nature of the cross, that he's willing to lay down everything he's entitled to, everything that is coming to him, and say, I'm going to lay down my life to redeem all of you. And I want my disciples to follow in that same way. And so what we're supposed to be doing in this week that is about the cross is also to be thinking about the cross and what that means for us and how that should be shaping us. Because the thing about the cross is it's going to shape how we think, how we live, how we make decisions, how we do relationships, how we treat one another. And as Christians, we're supposed to be doing all those things with a cross-shaped attitude, an attitude of sacrifice, an attitude of humility, an attitude of laying down our life for others, and so much more. And this week, what I'd be liking for you guys to do is to be thinking about, what does the cross really mean in my home, in my friendships, in my lifestyle, in everything I do, in the things that I value, in the things that I care about. What does the cross mean for all of those things? And to just be thinking about what that means in every area of life as we approach Good Friday, and really start to think about, what did the cross mean for Jesus and how much he had to pay to redeem us? And the thing about the cross is the temptation for us as believers is always to not go the way of the cross, but to be like Peter and to go, we can actually achieve these in different ways. We don't need the cross. We can do this a different way. But instead to embrace the cross, to embrace a cruciform way of life, to embrace a cross-shaped way of living, to lay down our life as Jesus laid down his life. And that's what this week is supposed to be about. So I'd encourage you guys to be meditating on that throughout this week as you prepare your hearts for Resurrection Sunday.